Hello everybody, welcome back. Let's have a look at XRP then, shall we, just for fun. But if you want to take this further, we've got a Telegram in the description below. It's getting quite big now, and Patreon if you want to take it even further than that. So let's just get rid of that. That's my last video. Let's have a look at Bitcoin pairing first. So basically it's two in the same. In many ways it's very reassuring, because if we look at XRP and the way that it likes to behave, it likes to revisit the 200 exponential. After every pump, people always ask me, where's the pumps going on, is it too late to buy XRP? And for me to say yes or no, it's not really the case. But what I would always say is that you're going to get another chance. XRP always gives you another chance, usually at the 200 exponential, which is this big white line here. So this is our 200 exponential on Bitcoin. And if we look on Tether pairing, we also had the same kind of read. So very obvious sort of entry point for those who are willing to catch the knife, right? And if there's ever a knife to catch with XRP, this is the place to do it. Sometimes it goes lower, sometimes it's well, most of the time it'll either hit it or go a little lower and accumulate around that level. And it's done it on both Bitcoin and Tether pairings, right? So this is a pretty good sign for it. It doesn't mean it's going to go immediately to the moon, but there's every chance that it could start to go up from here and get quite aggressive. The main area for us to entertain for huge big moves is our previous breakout high. Not this one here, but this one over here. So about $1.27 to $1.28, and that's where things start to get pretty interesting. And I would entertain an idea that a move up to into the $1.50 ish area, $1 to the $1.50 to 55 kind of area before our next potential just a small pullback. If we were to get that, it will likely have the power to continue thereafter and move to a much higher level. So I've got these areas marked out, and these might seem silly and ridiculous, but once this area is pierced and broken through this big box of resistance, which is the main problem that we've got. And again, I'm not expecting any of this immediately, but XRP, when it wants to move, it can move pretty well. It would likely come up to this zone here, about $1.83. So if we think about it, what we're looking at here on the weekly, it doesn't look much when we're looking at momentum, but what we do see, and this is just your tether pairing on the money flow index, we have a read which is a bounce high, bounce high, bounce high, bounce high, and it's an upwards trend line of support for the money flow index, being tagged on this level over here, and then finally getting that first big push. And now we're continuing that push, which leads me to believe that this area is likely to be taken out relatively soon. And when I say that, I mean within a month or two. And again, when XRP wants to move, it will move much higher than this, and we're talking about the end of the market cycle for XRP. So forget what you think about the 4-year cycle for Bitcoin. XRP has its own 4-year cycle. Yes, it's definitely tied into the overall market health. And there's no, it's very unlikely that it's completely detached and has its own 4-year cycle, but it does have its own 4-year cycle that works differently. It spends 3 years down, and then basically 1 year up or thereabouts. It's done it before, and it's doing it again. So it's one of the oldest altcoins out there, which is one of the reasons I like the chart the most, because it gives us the ability to read the indicators much better than we would if we were to look at something that only has existed for a matter of months or even a year or two. We've got about 10 years of history almost. Well, not really, about eight years of history. What am I talking about? So it's looking pretty good here on the weekly, I have to say, above all major moving averages. So looking for the next big push, and I think we're going to be moving up into these previous breakout tops, $1.28, and hopefully we can get straight through this box. Now, if we think about what we're looking at here on the Bitcoin pairing, we've got exactly the same kind of vibe going on. In fact, it's even more pronounced when you look at it like this. So we've got bounce high, 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 bounce, and we've not yet started to make a new high here. So this would suggest that versus Bitcoin, then there is going to be another big move on the Bitcoin chart pairing. Now, for this chart here on the weekly, we are stuck between a rock and a hard place. We've got our green 50 there, where our support was. We've also got our 10 exponential here, which is where our resistance is. The main thing for me is to get above the cloud, and once we're above this cloud, then things can really get very aggressive and interesting. And I would be looking for a push up to where this is here, the 200 exponential, right? On the weekly versus Bitcoin, which points to, and it's descending, but points to around about 4,400 sats, right? So that's exactly 100% move from where we are at right now. This is the next destination, I would say, before the next major pullback, doubling its value versus Bitcoin, which could mean anything really. We don't know what Bitcoin will be, so we're looking for overall at least a $2, or well, it would be more, but a $2 roughly XRP incoming based on the Satoshi pairings. It's a very good chart and it's a very good coin. I know that it's one of the most frustrating, and overall, if you were to be looking to invest, at the beginning of the bull market 2019, you invested into XRP, you would be disappointed, and I can completely understand why people don't like it. But it's not so much about the major massive gains. It's more about being able to read a chart that does respond to its own behaviour, and not just get carried with the market. Although that does take place, especially in downtrends, right? So XRP is brewing a move. I appreciate that there's more to it than that. There is the lawsuit, the SEC case, which probably is going to go in favour of XRP, but who knows? Who knows? That said, the market does appear to be ripening a bit more now, and XRP is certainly one not to be forgotten about. I'm not telling you now that it's going to dwarf any altcoins behavior. It's not going to be the best thing you've ever bought in your life. It just isn't. But is it going to go up? I would say certainly. Now, I made some videos before the last correction, and it's not like I'm saying I called it, but I said that the next dump down is the one that gets bought, and the one that should give, if anything, if there's ever a position to take in XRP, it would be on that one. And we got that, and we pretty much nailed it to the cent as well. So, and I talk about we as in me, the royal we, and the reason I'm bringing that up is not to say that I was right. It's more about I recognized how XRP moves, right? And I expected a move down to the upper 80s. We got that. I suppose it was the move to be bought, and now we're going to move back up to make a new local high, which again, a new local high is going to have to be not just above here, but above these breakouts. And again, that would lead us up to the at least the $1.80 area, and if we base it up on the Satoshi pairings, depending on what value Bitcoin is at the time, we're doubling from where we are right now. So we could be looking into the $2 easily for XRP relatively soon. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you have a nice day. Take it easy.